Hello, everyone. Happy
Hi.
Hacktoberfest again. Got my Hacktoberfest shirt on. We've got a nice full panel again today, so that's very exciting. Can you believe it's the third week of Hacktoberfest already?
No.
No. Okay. And does anyone feel like they've done 3 works of solid Hacktoberfesting? No. Okay. Well, then I'm not feeling so bad because I haven't made nearly as much progress in my app as I thought I would. In fact, well, I'll talk about that later. So we have Sandy back. She was out traveling last week and couldn't find Wi-Fi to save her life on Thursday.
I had no clue about an interstate going down to one lane. Didn't think that was possible. So, finding internet connection on a one-lane interstate in the middle of Appalachia was not easy. So
Oh no!
I'm glad to be back.
Like how is internet, like with Appalachia, with all the mountains? That's got to be hard at the best of times, isn't it?
Well, sometimes it's really great when you're on a mountain and the tower is there too. So sometimes it's really great, but it's more when you go down into the valleys and in the hollers that it gets a little tricky, and rural internet is a real issue. I'll just say that. So it was challenging, but I'm glad to be back. I am thrilled with all the changes and all the updates that I've seen. I have been playing all week with the changes, so I love it.
Oh, that's excellent. Well, that's great. So we're looking forward to hearing your reaction, as a end user and tester and all that, because that's important. Because some of us developers just, we've got our blinders on, and this is what I'm doing. This is how it's supposed to work. No one could possibly deviate from this path of using this app. And it's true enough. And below me, we have Steve Harris, who's joining us. Woohoo!
Hello.
How are you, Steve?
I'm hanging in there.
That's good. So Steve's published a brand new tree app that has joined the family. So we're very excited about that. So, we'll probably start off with you sharing that, if you don't mind. But Alesh is here, and he said he's written his first app, and which is hard to believe since Alesh has written so much on WikiTree, but I guess the first one that he technically calls an app. So we're looking forward to seeing that.
That is WikiTree, the tree app.
A tree,
That's
the first official tree app. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
You've done lots of
I
things.
think Alesh should go first.
What's that?
I think Alesh should go first.
You think Alesh should go first?
Up.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Jamie, before we turn it over to Alesh, do you want to say anything or?
I just moved some of my old stuff into Tree Apps code, and I'll show that off too.
Excellent. That's great. Looking forward to it. Okay, Alesh, take it away.
Okay, this week I decided to try to write an app also by myself, since all of you are already doing it. So I decided to try to not really write something new, but to move the WikiTree maps, WikiTree Plus maps to the tree apps. So.
Oh, this is exciting.
And this is really brand new.
Right? Yes. Yeah.
But it's not. You most likely already saw this, but now it's wrapped into an app. So it actually took me half an hour or less.
Wow.
Because it was already written. So here I can, in Tree Apps, now one of the application is Maps. I named it Maps Plus, but I'm not really satisfied with the name. I will probably go with the name it has until now, so like WikiTree Plus Maps, something like that. We'll see. And you can enter any person, and it will show the ancestors of that person. So where they were born and where they moved during the lifetime. So we can now see my ancestors, how from which part of Slovenia they were, and how they moved during their lifetime. You can also, it's clickable map. So if you click on a dot or a line, you get the info of that person. So this is this profile, born here, died here, and so you get some details of the profile. You can also extend it, show the profile on WikiTree, or you can also then navigate and show just this person's ancestors. So this was already written in WikiTree Maps Plus. Okay, he has none.
That
no,
was the end of the line.
there they are.
Oh, there's just a few.
Yeah, they all lived in the same place. So here in Slovenia, that's not that interesting because we didn't move around a lot.
Yes.
But if we have a look for your profiles, for instance, it's 11007.
Yeah, 11007. Right? Yeah, that's it.
James Bond, 11th James Bond, right?
Yeah, 11 James Bond. That's right.
So we get 284 profiles for your ancestors, and here are the locations of them. So, okay, we very often you will see someone located here south of Africa, in the middle of, or just near Africa. That's on 00 coordinate, since the location was not interpreted to actual place. So probably here you should use a different. You should write the death location as it should be, most likely.
Yeah, that's just that's the place name, but it doesn't have the the
usually that is not enough because the word is big. Also, if you have someone, for instance, here, you have someone in Greece. This can also be a. I mean, I don't know where this is. But
that's in,
probably not in Greece.
No, not in Greece. No, that's part of Nouvelle-France. Yeah.
Yeah. So such locations should be corrected, and then it will be displayed correctly also on the map. The map displays the data from weekly database dumps. So it's 7 days, so up to 7 days old. So the changes you made won't be visible immediately, but next week they will be in. And here you can then you can see how your ancestors moved around. Then you have a few possibilities here in layers. You can set you can define how you want to look at the data. So you can display birth and death locations. Those are the dots that are separate in separate layer. Or you can turn off also the arrows, the lines between birth and death place. Then you can choose to color by century. So now you have.
Oh, nice.
You see for all profiles. So blue one, these blue lines were in 18th century and so on. So you can have kind of timestamp. So here in 20th century, you're moving around here a lot.
That's great.
And you can also monitor you can also look at the data by generation. So I think you can separately turn on and off each generation, but first and second for living profile people are usually empty because there is no location info in the public dump. So with your grandparents, you start to get the data in. So this is your third generation, fourth, and you can look at fourth or fifth.
Nice.
So you can. That's another way to look at the data, and you can also cross mix this with something is So they were all in 19th century.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so here you can, so after you have a person, I mean, you can navigate through persons here, through profiles here. And then once you, nothing was found. Let's try that. You can also here show ancestors and descendants or a new nuclear family from this person. So you can just restart the charting. So now we will go from Marie, we'll look at descendants of Marie Augustine. So
There's
you
quite a
click
few.
there and you can see them all. Now, okay,
There
we
should
have
be.
to
Oh,
turn
because of
off
the generations now, yeah.
So, okay, so now you can see the descendants of her. So, I don't know. I will most likely also make an outer navigation. So you would, once you enter the profile ID, you would be able to select what you're trying to look at. Are those ancestors, descendants, nuclear family? But that will be it. Okay, so
that's great.
That's what you already had wrapped
Yes.
in application.
Right.
That's just on your apps server right now.
It is on apps TRTNIK2 -DT. Let me put the URL out to the chat.
Yeah. So yeah, and when Sandy said that's really new, it's not in the Tree Apps tab yet.
Yeah.
It's written, so it has to go through the stage. It has to be added to the.
You can test it here on my apps site.
So you guys
I have to show it, right?
Now, I was playing with this before we came on live, and the one things that I really, really like is if you have a family with similar last names, a lot of them, and if you have Smiths, Jones, things like that. The one beauty of this is the show on WikiTree button as well, because then you can figure out which, Robert Smith, if you have 4 of them in a row, you sometimes we don't know the dates off the top of our head, but if we, Alesh, I really appreciate the show on WikiTree, because then I can just click on it. It opens up a brand new tab, so I'm not losing my map, I'm losing my data, and I can go, oh, that was the wrong Smith, Robert Smith. Let me go back down, because I know in my family we tend to name people the same over and over again. So I really appreciate just that little section that you have there, as well as opening up on a new tab.
That's very cool. I like that. And I mean, you did have you're saying that it's nothing real new because it already existed on WikiTree Plus, but there's still a number of WikiTree users that are nervous about going over to WikiTree Plus and trying that. So I think this will make it a lot more accessible to
I hope it will not be too much for my servers.
Oh. Well, at least you know who to blame. Well, there you go. That's great. Okay, Steve, why don't you show us your new app, and then Jamie's going to show us the app that she has repurposed for the Tree Apps, and then I think we'll end with Sandy giving a recap of what it's been like testing all these new things.
All right, let me get my screen shares ready to set up here.
Okay.
And maybe I should have went ahead and gone first, because that's going to be a tough act to follow.
I know. I was trying to help you out there, but you were really so gracious. I mean, alphabetically, Alesh was first, and Alesh, but still,
mine's not going to be nearly that exciting.
Oh, but it is exciting.
It's
very graphical, and people like to see pictures and stuff. So,
all right.
Okay. Are you sharing your screen yet?
You may have to walk me through this.
Go down to the present button.
It's already here, I think.
There it is.
To the screen.
Oh, hello. There it
on
was.
StreamYard. So there you go. All right. So, and I'm gonna have to look up on another monitor here. So this is kind of family portraits. It was actually a request that was submitted into GitHub to be able to pull the profile pictures of all the ancestors. So the one that's currently published is going to be a little behind my development stage. Greg actually found an issue yesterday, so I've got a PR out for that, and it should be updated within the Tree Apps at some point. But all this is doing is it's going to take your profile ID or any profile ID you submit, and it's going to go through and find all of your ancestors and their siblings out to 10 generations and load all of the profile pictures. Now you'll notice that there are going to be some strange items and images that are in here. So obviously I've got, a lot of family portraits that are in here. Some of them will be duplicates. It's because it's set as a profile picture for multiple individuals. But you can actually click on the image and it'll take you right over to that person's profile. And again, it's just going to pull that profile image. So in this case, they have this set as their profile image. So that's what it's pulling in. Let's see if we update that. So here's the one for Queen Elizabeth.
Oh,
you can see all the profile photos that are pulling in.
That's very cool.
Greg, do you mind if I pull yours?
No, go right ahead. Now, is this the updated version or the?
This will be the updated version.
Okay. Yeah, because I was asking Steve yesterday about this because all I saw were these records, like the baptismal marriage records in the priest handwriting. And I thought, where are my pictures? I know I have pictures.
And you've got a lot of ancestors to page through.
Yes, all those.
That was one thing I had completely forgot to put in was pagination to pull all of those ancestors. So the further back you go in time, obviously you're not going to have profile photos for a lot of these people. So they're putting in, shields and emblems of some sort. But now this is now pulling in all the data. So I'll scroll down here and we'll find Greg in a minute.
In a while. Yeah.
Or maybe we won't. Let's see, let me hard refresh this.
Maybe he's on the first image there.
Yeah. Oh, you know what?
Are you on the line or no?
I overwrote my database this morning when I was working on an issue with Jamie.
Oh no.
I think
Yep.
the updated code should be on the test thing on the app server. So it's app.wikitree.com or
let's see.
slash
the WikiTree dynamic tree one.
Yeah, /app/WikiTree dynamic tree. So that should be have all the pull requests that we worked on this morning.
Right. Yeah, Jamie's been doing all these pull requests, and they've been coming pretty fast and furious this last week.
Yep. So but it's been pretty easy to check. Like most everyone's code worked fine, except I found a bug with Steve's this morning when I. Oh. So, but we fixed it before.
No one noticed it
before this presentation. So
leave it to Steve to
there we go.
The system. Nice. Yep. So now we're starting to pull in some of those more recent profiles.
Yes.
And
there we go,
Mr. Greg.
Here I am.
There we are.
Worse.
So again, like I said, it's nothing too terribly fancy. It's just going to run through all the ancestors and siblings and start pulling in those profile photos. One of the things we did talk about is potentially trying to open up the API at some point with Brian and being able to return not just images or sources, but being able to filter on all of those different photos within the API. So the one that I'm using right now, again, is only pulling the profile photos. So, hopefully that'll help expand this app. And then anywhere we may have duplicate images, I don't see any offhand, but there was
there's a bunch of shields at the top, right?
Yeah, that's true. Here we go, like these here.
The blason. Yeah.
Right. So one of the things that I'll probably end up doing is combining those into one and then just providing a pop-up that shows you all of the profiles that have those. And then you can just click within the pop-up on one of the links and go to those profiles. That way you're not having to see a bunch of duplicate images. So, like I said, relatively easy, kind of boring from a technical standpoint, but it's fun to play around with and see what all's out there.
Yeah.
It's nice to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if we can get Brian to add that little piece so we could filter out the sources, would be even nicer.
It is in the to do queue, but I don't know.
The to-do queue. Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not
so it's already on the to-do
breaking
list?
anything, but yeah.
So he's already put it on the to-do list?
Yeah, it's in there.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, that'll be great. That'll be a great one.
Well, that's a step in the right direction. So
right.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
So Stephen had a question. I don't know how to put it up on the screen.
Oh, what area? This one here?
Yeah.
What area are we pulling photos from? So this is the profile pictures for each of the WikiTree.
Right. So I'll just select one of the kind of random ones here.
Mm-hmm.
By going to that profile. So it's their actual, whatever image is set as their profile picture. Right. There may be other images listed for that profile, but it's only going to pull in the profile picture at this time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you say you go out 10 generations plus the siblings of those direct descendant ancestors?
Correct.
Do you go down as well or just up?
Do not currently go down. So that's probably another one that I'll probably need to do, because obviously you can pull these for different people. Let's see. Let me get back over to.
So for Queen Elizabeth, you wouldn't have her kids or grandkids.
Correct.
Do they fall into the privacy?
Some of them might. And obviously, privacy protected images aren't going to show, or if they do, it's only going to be whatever thumbnail is visible. So that's one of the things I'm doing, is transforming the images to put them in a specific size range, so we don't have these huge images that are loaded and pushes everything around. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of formatting everything into the same height.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, that's a good one. So obviously with Queen Elizabeth, there's a lot going on there.
Mm-hmm. You could pick, you know what? Sorry, I'm just thinking, just like my fan chart led me to thinking about the Fandoku, made up that game. You could use this as a basis for like a memory match game with ancestors.
Who is married with whom?
Well, I was just thinking, the same pictures twice, but yes, husband and wife, that would make it even more challenging, Alesh.
Just to name this person would be too complicated for me. I mean, so who are we looking at here, Greg?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
could be Beethoven. Who knows? Oh, it's German. Look,
it's German. You're nationality.
All right, so you did good on that one. Anyway,
okay, I'm going to stop there.
That would definitely be interesting. I've had a lot of fun, after building this, doing, quite a bit of testing on it, especially after yesterday's update, after talking with Greg, going through all the pages now. I've been playing with just pulling a bunch of random profiles and playing with them. And there's some really interesting photos that are out there.
Yeah.
Really interesting. So it's fun to play with from that perspective as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is there a get a random profile option in WikiTree? I think there is, isn't there?
In the browser extension, there is.
Mm-hmm.
There was also a standalone app that I made like 1 million years ago, where it's just like a big button that you can click on.
Oh yeah.
But
also
not
find. Don't you go up to find, drop down and random?
I think that's part of the browser extension.
Okay.
Because that you could do random pictures, as well. Just randomly pick profiles and then find the profile pics from those too.
Right. That could be an interesting option.
I'm a bad host because I'm giving you more and more work, more ideas.
No, that's all right. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, that's funny. And then look at Kay, of course. Kay's she's adding to it. Yeah, and biocheck at random. That's great. There you go.
Maybe we combined them.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
That would be interesting.
Neat stuff. Sandy, I'm sure you already saw that Patty had already said. Oh, okay, that's very cool.
All right.
Very cool.
Turn that off now.
Well, Jamie, you were one of the first to do apps in general on WikiTree, way before any of the rest of us did stuff. Not tree apps specifically, but apps.
Yeah, the tree
You had
apps.
a whole pile of apps, and now you're starting to bring some of those over.
Yeah. I haven't updated most of my apps for a long time, so it'll be good to get in the shared code so other people can make them better. And it was kind of painful looking at my old code just because I'm a better programmer than I was.
Oh, I hear
I
you.
hear you.
Why did I do it this way, or what was I doing?
What was I thinking?
it was yeah, I had to clean it up. Like the ancestor statistics app, I definitely had to clean that up before I put it in the shared code because it was kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
So, oh, and before we move on to me, Steve also combined the family calendar and family anniversaries app, right?
Oh,
right.
So just so people know, what is it under now? Is it just family?
I think it's just calendar
Or
now,
just calendar?
or will be.
Can you show that?
It's not going to be anything fancy. Let me see
Okay.
here.
I think I saw that written somewhere, but I didn't actually get a chance to check that out.
Well, that's what we were working on this morning. Making sure it worked.
Leave it to Steve to introduce those errors.
Yeah, I tried loading it and it just kept refreshing the page until I hit the API limit.
Oh no.
It was only for the test account that I was using that didn't have any family attached. So it was something weird like that.
All right, so someone will have to pop that screen share in there. I have no idea what I'm doing with StreamYard. There we go. All right. Okay. So yeah, it's just we've. Oh, there it went.
Okay, I'm gonna hit it again.
There we go. So like Jamie was saying, it was just combining the two different ones. So this is called kind of what we call the watch list anniversaries. It was modeled after special anniversaries.
Right.
Right. So it's just providing the listing, and you can jump to the different months at the top to filter all that data. And then up at the top, just change the display mode to modern calendar. And it'll take a second, and now it will load that new kind of modern calendar view.
Right. Because it's the exact same data, it's just how
exact same data, just all combined into one view.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this will kind of open up some possibilities as well for other views.
Now a question, can you port that to Google Calendar?
That's going to be a fun one. I have started working with trying to do like an ICS download.
Really?
Have you?
Yeah. Well, someone had actually suggested that before for the special anniversaries page, which is what this is going to eventually replace.
Right.
But it was just like, it's such a minor thing that it's like on the to-do list for maybe eventually sometime. Yeah, but with shared apps, if someone really wants to do it, they can just add to the code. And
it's actually pretty tough to do, right? So in the two calendars or two views work a little bit differently from each other. So same basic data, two completely different calls to the API, but on your watch list, what you're returning really is the day, the month, and the year, right? So there's no separation between years. So you're just running down and it's sorting by the by the day and the month, right? So when you go on the modern calendar, the year is completely stripped out because see, I'm looking at October of 2023, but I'm looking at everybody who had an event on a specific day.
Right.
So that's kind of the difference between those two apps. And if we did implement kind of that ICS function, it would probably be directly from this modern calendar. Right, because then we're not appending year data to it. It's going to be a lot easier to understand. But getting the format correct is a little tricky, so it hasn't been implemented yet.
Right, and currently it uses the watch list. And is there any filtering options yet?
There's not. So the watch list anniversaries uses the watch list. There's no filtering options that have been added in yet. I know there was one that was suggested. Haven't had a chance to get around to it yet. However, the modern calendar is not focused only on the watch list. It's actually paginating through get people. So ancestors, again, all the way out to 10 generations plus siblings. Right. So one of the features I'll probably add to this one a little bit later is being able to turn on or off whether the siblings is being used, how many generations you're going out. If you're only wanting to see 3 or 4 generations instead of the entire 10, those are going to be pretty easy to add.
Yeah, I think
this
that was
is not on main server yet, right?
No,
I'm
I
seeing
probably,
different image.
Yeah, I can probably update the main server one today. It just depends on, I need to do a little bit more testing. But it is on the test version of the dynamic tree, which I put a link in the private chat because I can't put links into the public one. So if someone can put that in there so people can play with it.
It's just the
I think Alish turned into a robot on them.
Yeah, exactly. Confirm what we always knew.
All right, let me see. Would you like me to post that link, Jamie?
Yeah, if you can.
Okay.
It always fails when I try posting it. So.
Oh, actually, I just got the same error.
I think it has to be posted from the WikiTree account, maybe.
Okay.
Or from a host. So.
Okay, so I'm trying to read that. So it's apps.wikitree.com. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, Alish did it.
Without the splash opens.
Oh.
Now, what's great about this is everybody's used to seeing it more in a modern view like this. And a lot of us go every day. We might pop into WikiTree and click on this person to check their profile, see if they need sources, see if they're on source, see if they need connected categories, things like that. So we use anniversary list as an end user. Excuse me. We use an anniversary list like this as an end user constantly. So seeing it in a modern view is just perfection.
Yeah, that's nice. Very sweet, says Jay. Yeah, indeed. Good stuff. Okay. Are you ready, Jamie?
Sure. Let me see.
If you want to feel better, let me share my progress this week.
Oh, okay.
This is my progress this week. So the app that I've been working on, I couldn't quite figure out why it was messing up with some of the positioning. So I've gone back to first principles and I'm debugging each of these stickies is a function that I'm trying to connect and figure out exactly what it's doing and why these aren't working together the way they're supposed to. So I have nothing to show except for my physical debugging screen. But I do
as long as you don't print out the sources, you're still modern.
Yeah, that's But I do have, there's someone in the chat, Steve80 is in the chat, and he's getting his computer all set up, and he's going to be my assistant. He's going to go through all the settings in the app and make the settings work like they do in the fan chart, or at least for most of them. I'm not sure how the coloring and the highlighting, I'm not sure about if highlighting will make sense in such a large app, but he's all ready to get on board and help with that. So while he's working at that, I'll try and get the lines going where they're supposed to, and the boxes to be somewhat copacetic. And Murray's actually started our work on the free space page for the help, but I don't have anything. I mean, I could show you that, but it's just a shell right now, and he's got that up and a skeleton for that. But that's all I have. Not a lot to show. So don't feel bad, Jamie. You've done more work than I have.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's showing up there.
It is now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so I made an old app like a long time ago. It was based on a Reddit post that someone made that was like, oh, try to figure out, these certain, or like how many answers are your ancestors' earliest birth year for each generation thing. And so I just like quickly made an app, and it turned into the ancestor statistics app. And so I've moved that away from my own little app without shared code into the Tree Apps code. And this is available on like if you go to your Tree Apps tab now under Ancestor Statistics. And so, I mean, it's pretty simple right now. And nothing has changed from the old app. It's in the share code, but people have given me a lot of suggestions over the years. So I'm going to put those suggestions into GitHub as issues for other people to work on if they want, or maybe I'll have time to work on them. So yeah, so it's just a little simple app in here. But and the one thing that a lot of people wanted that it can do now is, before I just would grab whatever you were logged in or in as, and that was the only thing you could view. So now you can do it for anything. So yeah.
Yeah,
you could check mine if you wanted.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's to. I don't know any WikiTree IDs off the top of my head, and I'm kind of worried a bit about privacy. I mean, I don't think the screen will matter too much, but
no, this one won't show anything. Yeah.
What's your ID, Greg?
Clark E with an E, 11007.
Okay.
11007. Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Hopefully it works. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
And someone had asked what the generation length was, and like I had forgotten to, so I had to look at my code. But it's basically like the average age of your ancestors when they gave birth to your ancestors. So if that makes sense.
Right. The age at which they became the parents of
your aunt. Yeah. Not like their first child, but like your aunts, like when they had your ancestor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what the generation length is.
Yeah.
And then lifespan is their average age at death. So.
Right. Yes, because so if you mapped the your birth year, your parents' birth year, your grandparents' birth year, the difference between those birth years is that generation gap, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. The generate, and so the average would be the average of those.
Yeah, and one improvement that maybe I'll get to is that right now the oldest ancestor, it just looks at so the average lifespan only takes the years of or like like just the year. So sometimes it's like the oldest ancestor may not be exactly the oldest.
If you have two 99-year-olds.
Yeah. One was like 99 in 3 months and the other was 99 in 2 months or something. It may choose the wrong one. So that's something that could be improved.
Okay, so we have a volunteer there, Jamie.
Yes.
David was saying earlier on that he was all set to go, and then he lost steam and inspiration. And he was looking for some suggestions.
Yeah, I definitely need to. Yeah, I was just trying to put this in there so I could put the stuff in there, because I think I made the posts for people to add suggestions like 3 years ago, and I haven't done any of them. So there'll be a lot of happy people.
That's great. Okay.
And then so
can you also add maybe the oldest female and the oldest male ancestor to your list?
Yes.
Instead of just you could just the oldest ancestor regardless of gender, right?
Yeah, let me write that down. Yeah.
Because that's actually that's true. The difference between the two would be interesting to know. And those are my stats there, right? So look at the difference between the earliest at the 10th generation, the farthest back. The difference between the earliest birth year and the latest birth year is over a century. Because one is obviously, I'm pretty sure, knowing my tree, one of them is on the I don't know if it's the direct male land, but it's one of the male dominated lines, because of course the men can have children a lot longer and later, and some of those lines are very, very spaced out, and the other, I think the youngest one is the pure maternal line, which I suspect happens in a lot of people, but the difference there is wild, stats wise.
And Jamie, if you're taking ideas, the average lifespan may be interesting for males and females as well.
Yep, I am taking ideas.
Yeah. So overall average lifespan, and then average male lifespan, average female.
Yeah, and there's
Right.
probably a lot of other data that people would like to see, you know, like,
Mhm.
that I haven't thought of. So yeah, we could add a bunch of stuff, maybe like have different settings so people can see just the stats that they want, or
Mhm. Now, if you're just using direct ancestors, so like family size, is that something that you can report on? Or
so when I moved the code from my old code to this, I used get people, just
Mhm.
the ancestors thing, but so like it could be expanded to you know, do family size and stuff. Right now though, it's just getting ancestors.
Mhm.
But because it is using get people for the call, it could be expanded to like include, you know, siblings or stuff like that.
Mhm.
So yeah, lots could be done with it.
Yeah, neat.
Or
Well,
do the descendant statistics
Yeah, it could be.
the other way.
Maybe I should just rename it statistics or something.
yeah, that's right. And then we-
Family statistics. There
family statistics. That's right.
we go.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. That's
Yeah,
neat.
and then the other thing I did yesterday, actually, mostly while I was in the airport and on a plane, was how do I stop screen share and then share screen again? No, that's statistics again. One second.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait a second. Are you waiting for us to?
No. I had too many tabs open, so I was trying to find out which one I wanted to share.
Spam stats.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I added something to the CC7 views. So because last week, Rial added this little drop down here.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I've wanted to do, since all the data is basically the same, is basically move the old missing links app into CC7 views, because it gathers all the same data.
Mm-hmm.
So I added a little missing family thing down here.
Nice.
So what missing links used to do is it would show you all the profiles within a certain number of degrees that were either missing a mother, a father, or if they didn't have the no more children checkbox checked, or the no more spouses checkbox checked. And that would basically be so you could find out where there were possible missing family members for you to increase your when I originally wrote it, it was more to help connect people, because I figured if you like added new family members, you would probably find a connection eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But now it can also help to grow your CC7. So I added that into the CC7 views. So if you click missing family, well, so because I didn't want to use my own CC7 just because there's private people in it, I chose someone else. So I don't know how many people are going to disappear from this chart, but I'm pretty sure that Abigail will disappear, because so these gray boxes here mean that the no more children and no more spouses boxes are checked, and also she has parents, so she probably will not show up on this report once I select missing family, hopefully.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so she disappeared. So everyone on this chart could possibly be missing family members.
Is there a legend for all the images and colors on this page?
Yes, somewhere in help.
In the help, yeah.
So all I did was add the drop down to filter the thing. The
Yeah,
colors and stuff were already there. Yes. So yeah, it says gray. No more spouses, children boxes checked. Purple brick wall is both parents are missing. Pink is missing mother. Blue is missing father. So you can see this one has missing mother. You don't know if any of them are missing both. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to combine the two apps, just because it basically
makes sense.
Do the same thing now.
Mm-hmm.
I probably will change the styling to be a bit more closely, or like a styling option to be a bit more closely what it looked like on the old app, just for people that like that style.
Mhm.
But yeah, it was actually really easy. I think it was like 10 lines of code that I had to change to add this because of all
Wow.
the work that Ian and Rial had already done. So,
Wow.
and it's a lot faster than the missing links app because that one used to make an API call for every single profile it looked at. So it could take a long time. So yeah, so that's what I worked on.
That's what you did. Wow. That's great. Wow, you guys with your 10 lines of code or your half hour of programming. Oh man.
Well, it took me a
Now
while
I've
to
got
read
to
through all
be.
the code. It wasn't only half an hour.
Since you already mentioned the optimization, I also this week I prepared and automated the display of the API logs. So it's
exciting.
updated each day. So these are logs from Connection Finder. You will get them for yesterday, and you can see so here you have somewhere here is the application identification. So okay, these are unidentified calls, but Ancestor Explorer, for instance, is using these calls. So I also grab out
Parameters there.
the levels of some parameters
Nice.
on which server it was run, how many times it was used this day. So it was used 28 times, and also 13 more times it was cached. So it was requested twice within consecutively with the same request. So so here you can also check if you can get some optimization done or how your application is using how often it's used. For instance, here we see a high number. So CC7 is made 2,600 calls to the API during the day, and so on. And you get these stats for each day.
There's the portraits.
And you can see if something can be optimized and so on.
Is that just for get people?
Yes, these are logs from Connection Finder. So only for the requests that I receive, and these are related to the API. The others are not shown here since they have nothing to do with the programs. I do this. I also prepared a lot. I did the same thing for WikiTree Plus API calls. So here you get the daily statistics for all the pages that are where the application had identified itself as using APP-ID parameter or with the correct name in the search, as I wrote it on the GitHub, how the application should identify. So you can here you can see, for instance, AutoBio for one name study made 1,500 calls to category info box search. So the developer knows which call it is, so it will help them.
Nice.
There is another log from the API server itself, but I'm still working with Brian to get those logs on a daily basis automatically from the server. So hopefully we should get that also available to see.
So that log that you're working on with Brian, is that the one where retrieval from for the fan chart, the tree?
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, they're all the here only the requests that come to Connection Finder are logged and counted, but there all the API calls will be analyzed.
Right. Okay. Because I don't think any of my apps would go through the Connection Finder, would they?
I don't know.
I think I saw fractal.
Did they?
I don't know how that.
Well, then they do. If you use ancestors or descendants, it does go through connection finder.
Even if it was a get people,
I think,
or if it was a get ancestors.
I don't know.
Okay,
let me check. Yeah, let's share again.
I think it's just get people for right now. I think get ancestors is still old.
Oh, this is the wrong one. Connection finder.
I thought I saw get the fractal there. The fractal tree.
So you have Ancestor Explorer, Biocheck,
Mm-hmm.
Harry, Ancestor Cemetery, Stats, Ancestor Line Explorer, Calendar, CC7, Fanchart, Fandoku.
Oh. Okay.
So you are making these calls to these calls come to the connection finder finally. The REST API calls are processed on the server, only on the API server.
Okay, interesting. I didn't realize I was playing with the connection finder there.
Well, you want ninth generation of a person.
I do.
How else would you get it?
I guess. There you go.
So 21 times.
Oh, okay. So K is get people with 0 ancestors, descendants, or nuclears wouldn't show there because there's no connections to be found. I guess that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
You can find here maybe also some problems in your applications that you're requesting something too much or so. I did when I analyzed this log, and I found a few bugs on my end also that I made the calls that I really didn't have to do. So if you're getting the cached results often, then that might be an indication that you are making the same request twice.
Oh, okay. That's good to think.
Although it can be with different fields, you're requesting different fields each time. In that case, it's okay because Connection Finder doesn't bother with that. But for me, it was the same result requested. And usually the cached one, as you can see, are a few hundred times faster served. So
yeah, good. Wow. Well, that's a lot of new stuff. And so some of the stuff we saw just now, folks, for those who are watching live or who are watching the replay on YouTube, some of those things are still on the testing app server, which we did have a link to earlier. Or going
I can also post the link to the logs so you can see, so the developers will see it.
Yeah. But eventually they will all show up on the tree apps area. So if you're wondering why they're not there currently, they will get to the tree apps. But Sandy, thanks for, we really appreciate you sticking around. So I want to turn it over to you to give us your, we missed you last week. And so you've got 2 weeks worth of commentary on what you think. What are you guys doing?
And I gotta tell you, Jamie, with your ancestor view, something came up while I was kind of in between traveling and getting home that was really kind of funny. My great nephew had the typical family tree chart thing that you need to do at school. He's in middle school, but the math teacher wanted to do a little bit of math with it and do an average lifespan. So I was like, wait, this literally just came available. So he did no math. So he just took it. I think it's really interesting from my perspective. You kind of, if you're known as a family historian, get some really wild, weird requests. And that was kind of great timing there. So I couldn't wait to see. We did have to dig a little bit for the oldest female, because I only had the oldest male. But that was easy too, because it was close relation to the oldest male. So that was really interesting. The other thing that I really, really, really love is the CC7 view that Jamie had up, and I've been using it with Biocheck. So with the filter, you can go to the filter and just pick show me everybody in my CC7 with the biocheck, and that lets me go through the issues, bing, 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 all the way through. It's the visual. I think seeing that chart, that pink and blue chart and table, is just a visual that really, really works. And that kind of ties into Steve's calendar as well, because I know in our project, we really use the anniversary dates to go to each profile and see if they're cleaned up, see if something's new is added, which also brings me to Steve's family portraits. So when that came out, I think it was yesterday, everybody in my project was randomly picking on portraits. So I was introduced to a 7th great grandfather that I didn't even have a clue who he was, which was interesting to me because he was from Germany. And that was interesting because my DNA has a lot of German. So that was another way that I could trace a line back that I really hadn't traced before, didn't know about, to kind of look and see where's this going with my DNA. All because somebody put up a portrait that I thought was interesting. It's like Steve was saying, the random idea, and some of these portraits are so interesting. You never know what you're going to get out of them. So just clicking on them. But I do want to mention too, with those family portraits, there is a person in one of my projects that is compiling a PDF ebook, and going through those portraits would let her see who she already has in her ebook and who she doesn't. So I was really amazed at that. I hadn't thought about that at all, because otherwise what we're doing is we're clicking, parent, 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 parent. But if you look at that ancestor view, it kind of came up and she recognized some of her portraits and she didn't recognize some of them. So she could see who she missed and who she still had. So that was really great. That was just a really different way of using an app that maybe people don't normally think about, or just click on a random one as well and look at it. Now, I don't think this has been released yet, but I will not lie. I have spent my majority of time on categories, because there's new features on categories that popped up, and it's the orphan and the missing parents and things like that. So what I don't think this one has been released or talked about much.
Is that on the browser extension?
Is this the browser extension?
Kind of the testing view. So what I did, I'm kind of a freak like this. I always start with the cemetery category where my grandmother is buried, because I know everybody that's buried there. I went there and I saw a couple of things. Missing parents. Ooh, my CC7 is going to go up because I just picked these missing parents. Orphaned. Ooh, I might want to adopt one of those profiles, or maybe somebody orphaned it and I didn't realize that they orphaned it, so I can pick that up as well. Those were the two things, but that missing parent was really key for me, because I could see where I didn't have the parent and I could easily link them. If I had 1 or 2 profiles, I can link them to the tree.
Wow.
Completely. So the whole category, the goodies that are on the category pages are huge, because then I went over to my one place studies and started working on those as well. But I gotta say, probably my favorite is right now today, and then I've noticed that a lot of us are enjoying, is the CC7 view with the biocheck.
Yeah. Actually, Rial made some. Share my screen again.
Okay.
He made some changes to the CSS, just so it's a little bit easier to see.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. So I don't know if you can see that it's
Yes.
like
Yeah. Isn't that great? That is awesome.
It comes up with the full biocheck information.
Yes.
Yes.
And also, like, you can use the escape key to close it, and so like this one, there's quite a bit.
So that little yellowish orange is telling me I need to go in here. Biocheck has found something. And I've always loved Kay's biocheck, but this is just everything in one.
Yeah, no, this is really, I've been using it too. And for anyone that wasn't here last week, where you have to go to the settings and then click this biocheck and enable it, because it takes longer for the CC7 to load, because it has to grab the bio information for everyone. So if you're not going to use it, keep it off, because then it will load faster. Otherwise, you can.
We could probably also add suggestions to this table of everything.
Well,
On top of the biocheck notes. Wow.
Now, I've got one question about this particular screen, because it is, especially with biocheck, it does add a little bit of time if you're going past the third generation or the third CC7. Is there a way maybe, and I don't even know if this is useful, but is there a way maybe to be able to select, I only want to see 4th through 7th generation?
Yes, there is.
And the reason why I mention that is my 1st, 2nd, and 3rd generations, I am pretty, neurotic about making sure they're clean.
Yeah, I had to go to my 5th generation to find one that showed up with a biocheck. Yeah, but you can load. Yeah, you want to show them, Jamie?
I don't. Can you do like a range of?
Oh, well, you can at least do.
I know you can do like 1 degree only.
Yeah, so you could just do the 4th generation.
Or 5th, yeah, like.
Right.
And that would be handy for me. So
I think if you could do one. I don't.
Or you can start with your grandparents and go by sections.
Yeah, and like if you do get like all of, or like CC7 up to the 7th degree, you can like filter. So if you just want to see like all the 4th degree people, you could put a 4 in that column and it will filter it.
And you can one of the options in the filter there is biocheck with a check mark or biocheck with an X, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So it only shows the ones that have biocheck issues.
Yeah, you can do that too. And unfortunately, I chose someone with a huge.
You didn't choose.
I didn't choose Brigham Young. I chose.
You didn't choose Brigham Young, did you? But did you?
No, that was who I did originally, and did degree 3, and it was a ton of people. I chose.
Well, now I'm thinking too, if we could get Steve's anniversary.
Oh, but there's a cancel button now.
Oh yeah, there is a cancel button.
There's a cancel button. Use the cancel button.
Yeah, I don't know who to do though. That's like private enough where it's not going to show someone living.
So, if we could get Steve's anniversary table with biocheck, so that when I look at the modern
my 4th or 5th generation, that's okay. They're all dead. I can assure you.
Clark.
11007.
Okay. Gotta go there, and then I think it's gonna do 4th degree only. Hopefully.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know because I switched. Okay, yeah, maybe. Oh,
okay.
Actually, I think there were some living people in there, so.
Yeah, I don't think they're all that. It's not Ancestors table.
Here, there's some people that. Hopefully, they're not living.
No, they're not. Look at the.
Yeah, so there are filters down here.
Oh right, it's not just Ancestors. Yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Where's the instructions? I need to play with this more.
Okay.
I don't think it shows what those filter images are in the help yet, but there are the.
Yeah, the first 2 are the biocheck ones. Yeah.
Sorry, Greg. There we go. So yeah,
the other are by privacy.
Yeah.
But if you're doing that, you shouldn't be able to see anyone that's private.
I have a sysop account, so there's.
Oh, so you can see everybody. Right, of course. I was going to say, yeah. But Riel mentions that there are save and load file buttons, 2, right up at the top.
And I have not played with that yet, but I believe it will save like the.
So if you waited the 2 minutes or whatever to load the whole thing,
then you could save and then reload it instead of getting it from the API.
There's so many features here. This is yeah. Oh, biocheck in a calendar. That's a nice one, Sandy. Yeah.
Yeah, if we could get that, that would be fabulous too. Because then when we look at every day, we can say, "Oh, that person's clean. Biocheck cleaned it or checked it." But no, fabulous.
In a year, you are done.
Yeah, in a year, you're all done. You have nothing left to do.
Unless we added those 12 children to those 12 children.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that was one of Kay's missions for this month, is to integrate biocheck into more and more apps. So, so Steve, are you still here? Yep, you're still there.
I'm still here.
You heard that. That's good.
But speaking from an end user side, I just want to say thank you to everybody, because we have been playing with these toys. We've been trying them out. We've been discovering new ways to use them that maybe you guys thought, well, this is a simple, this will use them for this way. And so we're really enjoying them. And even though they might be small things to you guys, as opposed to the big WBE last year, they're fun. We're really enjoying. It's really fun getting to know these new features.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Now we've been very tree apps heavy this livecast, and we've mentioned a few things about the WikiTree browser extension. But I promise next week we will talk more about what's happened on the WikiTree browser extension, because Ian just keeps pumping things out. And I've been bad because I haven't taken the time to check out all of those things. And I don't want to embarrass myself or Ian by trying to do a demo that I don't know what I'm doing about. Don't know what I'm doing. So next week we will cover lots of the stuff that's happened with the Ian for president. He's running every week, right?
Campaigns around for a long time.
We can make him president of the Apps Project.
There we go. Yes. Excellent. Great. Wow, I can't believe it's
Will Florian be vice president?
Yeah, Florian's his campaign manager at least.
Maybe they could be president of B-Land. Yeah.
That's right, B-Land. Oh, that's great. Well, thank you everyone for coming. Any last thoughts? Any words? Advice? No.
Nope.
Thanks to everyone who's been here live in the chat. I tried to keep an eye on questions, but I may or may not have. I may have missed some. Anyways, David Weinberg, check out Jamie's GitHub and grab any of those issues that she posts as a challenge or something to work on. And anyone else has any other ideas, just add them to the G2G post, and we'll see you here next week. So thanks very much.
Bye.
And let me think. Here is, I have to find us. I'm going to play us out with the WikiTree Day intro. Just because WikiTree Day is coming up. So I thought we'd do something different for the outro. It's an intro, outro. Anyways, see you next week.
Bye.